Yo, what's up with y'all, man? I hope you're doing good. If you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, subscribe to this channel. So let's get straight into it.
Like it's Minute Maid, hijack 4, renegade, 24, number 8, Kobe shit fade away, ballin' since 11th grade, still in school, let them hate.
So it's about that time for this topic to finally be at hand, what I've been hyping up over these last few weeks. I don't want to hold y'all up at all because trust me, this is going to be a long video. So before you sit down, relax, and grab yourself some healthy snacks, real quick, I'm gonna need you to follow me on Instagram because literally the day right after this video is posted, 9 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going on IG Live asking y'all basketball related questions, start bench cuts, stuff like that, and I'm calling y'all too. So if you want to talk to Mojo99 Live, me, go ahead and follow me on Instagram and be ready 24 hours from now. Don't need to say anything else, just make sure you're in a comfortable position and grab you some water so we can get straight to it.
And here we go.
When I was a little boy and told people I was going to be a comedian, everyone laughed at me. Well, no one's laughing now.
You can say that again, pal.
Now look, the draft lottery order obviously hasn't been in place yet, so therefore this is the unofficial 2020 NBA mock draft. Now what I did prior to this video was run a simulated lottery. And when that simulated lottery, just like in real life, the most random team ended up lucking up and scooping up that #1 overall pick. So here's the draft order for today's mock draft. Now look, the draft lottery order obviously hasn't been in place yet, so therefore this is the unofficial 2020 NBA mock draft. Now what I did prior to this video was run a simulated lottery. We got the Kings at 1, the Knicks at 2, the Hawks at 3, T-Wolves at 4, Warriors at 5, Cavs at 6, Pistons at 7, Bulls at 8, Hornets at 9, Washington at 10. At 11 there's the Suns, 12 there's the Spurs, 13 the Pelicans, and at 14 the Portland Trailblazers. Until we get the real thing, this is what we're gonna end up settling for and just have fun with it. That's how it's supposed to be. With the #1 overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft,
the Sacramento Kings select
the 6'5" guard out of Georgia, Anthony Edwards. This is just what the Kings needed. Now if you weren't paying attention to Sacramento throughout the season, which I like, why would you be paying attention to them? Because they kind of reek. They're on the verge of a fallout with Buddy Hield. Man is not happy coming off of the bench, even if it's for the greater good of the team, so the likelihood of them moving on from Buddy this offseason is high. So the timing of Ant-Man entering their lives is picture perfect. Anthony, the 6'5" big body 2 guard, would be a fine 6-man and future starter for this organization. He and De'Aaron Fox have a great chance to be the most athletic backcourt in the NBA. The addition of Ant shores up their future and makes it a little bit stronger that was once damaged this past year. Now on the court, I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't say that the fit is seamless, because more pure shooting around Bagley and De'Aaron Fox is preferred. But it definitely can work because Ant, even though his 3-point percentage in college wasn't pretty, is a much better shooter than it suggests. Sacramento Kings fans couldn't be any happier. With the second pick in the 2020 NBA draft,
the New York Knicks select
the 6'7" guard out of Australia, LaMelo Ball. I hope you're clapping too with me, bro. We gotta clap it up for the Knicks fans because for the first time in damn near forever, Knicks fans can finally say without looking delusional that they have a good future. They got a second-round steal in Mitchell Robinson, a talented and promising wing in RJ Barrett, and that French point guard. What's that man's name?
what Frank Nicolina, is that how you pronounce it?
Ntilikina, that dude. And now the icing on top, the cherry on top that makes this certified and official LaMelo Ball. This sounds like a match made in heaven. I say that because the only type of player who can actually survive, shine, and thrive in some of the brightest stages in America, that's LaMelo Ball. He fulfills those roles and also the on-court needs as well. Over the last few years, some of the most notable PGs that the Knicks had to fulfill that role was Derrick Rose and the man who looks like the sofa in my living room, Raymond Felton. LaMelo is the hope, and as I said in my last video, the antidepressant pills to these Knicks fans who are really depressed. He deserves the keys to the offense day one. The likelihood of them being better day one with LaMelo part of the equation is sky high, and that RJ x LaMelo duo could blossom into one of the better ones in the Eastern Conference. If you didn't watch any of my previous draft videos and this is your first time around here for some odd reason, go ahead and check out my little draft catalog right there. Those past few videos, I said that I believe that LaMelo Ball was the most talented talented player in the class, and the New York Knicks just landed him. So if they mess up this opportunity, I ain't gonna lie, I say that we strip their basic human rights because they're making the people of New York look really bad right now. And nobody deserves that type of treatment that Knicks fans been getting for years. With the third pick in the 2020 NBA draft,
The Atlanta Hawks select
Killian Hayes out of France. Now I know that you know that I'm a Hawks fan, and I want the absolute best for my team as every other fan across the league. Now if you paid attention to our roster and how we've performed on the court, you would know that we are literally, this is no exaggeration or boost, we were bad at every single thing in the game. And that makes things almost impossible for our franchise player to win. But we didn't do anything helpful for our team's future after the NBA draft. We just said screw it during the free agency period and walked into this NBA season paralyzed basically. We could not shoot the ball, we could not defend, and we just had a slew of 20, 21, and 22-year-olds a part of our roster. They're out there playing bulks of minutes while Vince Carter's corpse is out there just doing what he could do, which is not too much anymore at all. We needed help in almost every aspect of the game, and we got that in the middle of the season with the trades made. And since then we've improved and actually have semi-quality players on our roster. But at the end of the day, just keeping it a buck between me and you, we suck. Our main focus should be making Trae Young's life easier. He's the only human a part of that roster who can force his way into success. Anything and anyone that doesn't fit his guidelines, his style of play, they gotta go. Through the last set of games that were played before the season ended, the odd man out as far as I know is Kevin Huerter. Now don't get me wrong, I've said in past videos, probably videos from last year, that this man was real nice and he has a lot of potential. But we just can't have that man play next to Trae Young and expect to have a lot of success. Kevin Huerter is just not that dude, and his confidence is wishy-washy. The defense, which is the main reason why I don't want that man starting anymore, reeks. And on top of that, he cannot take pressure off of Trae Young on a consistent basis. He's a great two guard in basketball in general, but I believe he'll be an even better one either on a different team or off of the bench for us being a scorer. Cam Reddish, John Collins, Clint Capella are the only dudes who have to start next to Trae Young. As far as I know, John Collins is the most underrated player in the league, averaging 22, 10, and nearly 2 blocks a game on 58% shooting from the field, 40 from 3, and 80% from the line. Clint Capella has established himself as a great defensive presence, and Cam Reddish is turning into the potential all-star prospect that we all thought he could be. What's missing from this equation is a secondary ball handler, specifically one who can play defense. I already know how I keep things around here. I keep things 100. Once I saw that the Sacramento Kings got the #1 overall pick and we couldn't select Anthony Edwards, I shed a tear. No lies. But Killian Hayes is a good option as well. Killian is 6'5" and easily could be the secondary ball handler needed next to Trae Young. Hayes is a type of point guard or actually shooting guard in this situation who can create for his own and others at a high rate. If you guys been paying attention, then you notice that one of the first steps into being a great team in the year 2020 in the NBA is to having multiple ball handlers. Killian is one of the best passers of the basketball and shooters. The ability that Killian has to ISO and just get his own without worry from any of his teammates would change Trae's life, and believe it or not, would even turn him into a deadlier player by unlocking his catch and shoot abilities and opportunities. That is what separates Trae from some of the most efficient and high volume 3-point shooters in the league. Offensively, the left-handed PG Killian has a lot of tricks in his bag. He has the aggression and patience to be at least worst case scenario a 15, 16, 17 point per game scorer in the NBA. So just thinking about that as a Hawks fan next to Trae Young alongside that man's nice defense, you know, it's just leaving me speechless because I never had nothing nice like this before in my life. Now, Killian may not be the most star-studded pick out of this class, but he is one of the safest and could be the missing piece to this frustrating puzzle the Hawks have presented us fans with. With the 4th pick in the 2020 NBA draft,
the Minnesota Timberwolves select
Onyeka Okongwu, Big O. Now this right here is a match made in heaven. The Wolves literally could not ask for a better prospect to stumble onto their hands. It seems like this puzzle piece right here fits too well to be true. The Wolves' biggest weakness, as we all know, is defense. Their two best players, Cat and D'Lo, reek and tend to be defenseless, stranded out there most of the time. So the addition of Big O alone can save them from a lot of blow-bys from D'Lo and mishaps from Cat. I'm not sure if a lot of people have been noticing this about Minnesota. Lately, they've been on a freaking run, a roll of a bunch of great moves. A supporting cast of D'Lo, Malik Beasley, Jared Culver, and now, at least in this video, Big O. That is a surefire, tough playoff team for a very long time. Big O's defensive presence and potential shooting that he could provide in the future is the finishing touch to the rebuild, and he can wreak havoc alongside the rest of those boys for a very long time. With the 5th pick in the 2020 NBA draft,
the Golden State Warriors select
the forward out of Israel, Deni Avdija. Coming in just now, sources from Woj say that the Warriors were pushing for a Bradley Beal deal, but the Washington Wizards management wasn't going for it, and they have other ideas in place. Creative, I know, right, bro? Like, Quarantine is really messing with me. But with that being said, due to the availability of stars who fit the Warriors system being really scarce right now, I don't think that they're going to be making a trade on draft night. As we all know, the Warriors will be back in business next season. With Clay and Curry back alone, they'll be contenders again. And to help reach their championship aspirations, they'll select Denny at 5 because he seems to be one of the most NBA ready prospects. Now, they didn't draft him because they believe he's the most star-studded prospect, because he's not, but they did it because he's definitely one of the most complete prospects. His passing, transition, offense, off-ball movement, and defense allows him to be the perfect player for him. Now, a lot of you may think that they just go ahead and take James Wiseman, who seems like the best center in this draft class, which is not crazy to assume at all. It's quite logical, I think. But we cannot forget that that's not the Warriors' bread and butter. Yeah, they never really had a chance to grab a great center, but nor did they really need one. That is not a part of their formula. Small ball is what took them to the next level. So why veer away from that? It just doesn't make sense. They like to run that small ball 5, and James Wiseman cannot play no small ball because he's big as hell. So why waste a top pick on someone who isn't going to be playing crucial minutes for you not only this year but years on? Just basing this off of what the Warriors tend to do and the type of moves that they tend to make and what they've been doing these last 3, 4, 5, 6 years, I'm guessing that they view Denny as a more attractive prospect than James. And today I feel pretty comfortable saying that Denny could probably average 9-10 points a game with 4 boards and 4 assists with them. This right here is a completely different situation than what every other prospect is going through right now. He's not going to be asked to be the savior and the Jesus Christ of an organization like the Knicks and the Detroit Pistons. He just needs to come in, run, pass, play defense, and shoot the ball at an average rate. That's who I believe who Denny is, and I think that he's perfect for the Warriors. With the 6th overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft,
The Cleveland Cavaliers select
Obi Toppin. As the Cavs continue to add more pieces of young players to their youth movement and get rid of the old heads, it's probably a bright idea to draft someone like Obi Toppin. Because for one, Kevin Love is getting old and someone like Obi is the perfect replacement. And secondly, maybe I'm being greedy right now, I don't know, and I don't really care. I just want to see a front court of Andre Drummond and Obi Toppin. That would be hella fun to watch. But more importantly than all of that, they'll get closer to their goal of being a respectable team once again. Instead of looking like a walking lick on the schedule to 95% of the teams out there in the league. Obi's offensive game would feed extremely well alongside guys like Garland and KPJ, and they'd easily have one of the most fun highlights in the league. These would get even crazier for them. With the 7th pick in the 2020 NBA draft,
the Detroit Pistons select
James Wiseman. Now look, honestly, this sucks. Okay, let me slow down for just a bit because I probably could have worded that a little bit better. This is tragic because out of every single team in the lottery, Detroit needed a LaMelo Ball more than everyone else. He was the only specimen in the draft that could single-handedly revive their city. Look, Detroit fans, I'm sorry that I have to be brutally honest with y'all, but this is how it is. Nobody cares about y'all or talks about y'all. Bro, I'm talking to everyone right now. Imagine the highlight of your organization being Sekou Doumbouya and Christian Wood.
So much pain! So much pain!
Good players, I'm not trying to take anything from those dudes, but come on, man, let's be realistic here. Y'all put the capital I in the word irrelevant. But hey, let's try to keep things positive over here, Detroit fans, even though I just kind of disrespected y'all's entire lives. Sorry. Keep your head up because you just got a solid prospect with a lot of potential, James Wiseman. James really can't do nothing with this situation but make it even better than it already is. He has the most room in the world to try whatever the hell he wants on the court and to be the player he's envisioned himself as, which is the Anthony Davis, Chris Bosh type player. Even though I myself just isn't too high on Wiseman, because he's shown consistent yikes moments in the short span of 3 games that he played, he still has a lot of potential not a single soul on this planet could take away from him. You cannot teach 7-1 agility and that type of athleticism, but you can teach a prospect defensive awareness, increases ball handling ability, teach him patience, and a slew of other things on the court. It's still a W at the end of the day because I believe that his potential is a lot higher than a couple other prospects selected before him. With the 8th pick in the 2020 NBA draft,
the Chicago Bulls select
Tyrese Halliburton. A trade has been made. The Chicago Bulls are sending Tyrese and a slew of other players to Oklahoma City Thunder for exchange for Chris Paul and a 2nd rounder. But as we know, the Chicago Bulls have been going through some bull. I swear to God, it's like every single year I have a decent expectation to them that's really not too hard to reach at all. And they always end up failing terribly. Things should definitely be different around this time though, because for one, they have new management, and secondly, their head coach, Jim Boylan, he's bound to be outie real soon. So one of the next immediate steps to lift themselves from this depressed state is to trade for CP3. Now his value isn't so high because he's old and he's making big racks. But for a team that's not going to be making any big time free agency moves anytime soon because they stink, that shouldn't matter at all. CP has 2 years left in his contract right now. For a team to take on a quote-unquote bad contract like his could change life for them and flip the switch. CP3 is the type of dude to have everything clicking on all cylinders for a team. The Bulls remind me of a beat-up junkie car that's been abused, and CP3 in this case is the mechanic fixing it up. He's one of the most knowledgeable souls on this planet when it comes to his own craft. So if he gets a chance to work on this car, or team I should say, he's the type to get it up and running like usual again. Like from a vet standpoint, hold on, wait, let me take a few steps back and let me get to this one point. Kobe White. The Bulls taking a PG would hurt Kobe, and I think he has serious potential to be a great PG in the future for them. So getting to my point, could y'all imagine the gem CP could drop on Kobe? These two individuals are already close as is, and if anything, this sets Kobe up to be a much better player than he already is in the future. Due to CP's last experience, I'm pretty sure we can all agree that he's shown that he can work with young talented PGs and help them elevate their game. And if I'm Chicago's management, I'm not even looking at a single young prospect, unless of course I get the 1-2 pick. But other than that, this just makes way too much sense again in my mind to not happen. And as for OKC, this is Shea's next phase as a player. It's time for him to take the shine and actually be the face of an organization. And plus, picking up Tyrese could be super solid for them in the long run. With the 9th pick in the 2020 NBA draft,
The Charlotte Hornets select
Isaac Okoro. Now honestly, there's not too much logic behind this because this is a guard heavy draft and the Hornets are already set on their guards, at least for the immediate future. So Isaac makes the most sense. With the 10th overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft,
the Washington Wizards select
a trade has been made. As stated earlier in this video, the Wizards were looking to make a deal, and many thought Bradley Beal was going to get moved, which wasn't the case. The Wizards are known to be stubborn when it comes to trades, but their stubbornness this time may have paid off, because they just landed back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year, the Stifle Tower, the Rona Man, the man who single-handedly shut down the entire NBA.
Rudy Gobert? Has anybody ever heard of this dude?
Rudy Gobert. Now look, if you watch the podcast that I host with Rusty Buckets, then you would already know about this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We all discussed him being moved and came to a conclusion that it's gonna be damn near impossible to move Rudy Gobert. But I think I finally figured out a realistic situation for him. The Wizards, they were literally the worst defensive team in the league. I'm talking 30 out of 30. And Rudy on the court, as you all know, could change their life. For a good chunk of the season, Washington was a top 10 offensive team in the league, but was just piss poor on the other side of the floor. With Rudy on their squad alongside a star-studded guard in Beal and a John Wall, who even off of those tragic injuries is a solid PG, they could end up possibly being a top 6, 5, 4, possibly best case scenario, and even top 3 team in the Eastern Conference. And as for the Utah Jazz, just look, reports been coming out about how damaged Rudy and Donovan's relationship has been, and that their friendship cannot be saved at all. So if that turns out to be true, then I expect this to be a possibility. And of course, if you have common sense, then you'd have to figure that Rudy Gobert gotta go, because there ain't no way in hell they're touching Donovan Mitchell. And honestly, I think this is the best offer that they could get for Rudy, because his contract is going to be expiring real soon, and no team like the Warriors, for instance, are going to trade for him because he doesn't fit their style of play, and plus he's expensive. So settling for a trade like this and taking a guard like Cole, whose potential may be either under or overrated, I mean, what else can you say? You have to be happy with this if you're a Utah Jazz fan. I believe as for now, this is the best that they could ask for. With the 11th pick in the 2020 NBA draft,
the Phoenix Suns select
Devin Vassell, but another trade has been made. Mojo99 is way too nice with it, and he's on a hot streak right now. The Phoenix Suns traded away Devin, not Booker, Vassell, to the Orlando Magic for Aaron Gordon. Now AG has been in the trade pool for at least like 2 years now, because of his stagnant growth and him possibly blocking their blessing in Jonathan Isaac. AG has been rumored in the past 2-3 years to be traded to the Suns, and I honestly think that this is another match made in heaven. I ain't gonna lie, man, no more anything, but the light-skinned trio of Kelly Oubre, Devin Booker, and Aaron Gordon could be the deadliest set of pretty players in the league. And obviously, no on the court stuff, you know, I think they'll be alright. With the 12th pick in the 2020 NBA draft,
the San Antonio Spurs select
Keal Bay. The Spurs are just like the Charlotte Hornets in this situation because they're already loaded with guards for the future, and there's nothing but guards infested in this draft class. So since DeMar's future is unclear, they may have to secure Shaquille to secure that 3 spot. He's as solid as a get that there, and in college he was uber efficient. With the 13th pick in the 2020 NBA draft,
the New Orleans Pelicans select
Tyrese Messy. Now Tyrese slips in this draft mainly because of placement. Like a lot of other teams out there, they don't need another guard. It's redundant to their process. He's a good prospect though, just put in a bad situation. But the New Orleans Pelicans could lean his way for solid bench production and possibly seek him to be their starting 2 replacement for Drew. With the 14th and final pick out of the lottery in the 2020, and in this video by the way, in the 2020 NBA draft,
Portland Portland Trailblazers select
Josh Green. Now, Josh fits with what the Blazers need and could develop into a nice role player for them in the future. He's a great defender, underrated passer, but an iffy shooter. But the possibility of the shot coming around is ultra high due to his free throw percentage. This was my unofficial 2020 NBA mock draft. Now, obviously, the order isn't going to be accurate, and it's probably going to be all over the place once we get the real thing. This was just for fun, you know, we're supposed to have fun with this entire thing, and I think that if the Sacramento Kings were to get the #1 pick, the Kings were to get 2, and the Hawks 3, and so on and so forth, this may be an actual thing. Who knows? I highly doubt it. Just know that we're not going for accuracy. We just came here to vibe out, and that's exactly what we just did. This is the end of the video though, man. I really do appreciate you for coming over here on my channel and seeing what I have to talk about today. That is, once again, extremely dope of you. Now, it is like 6:30 a.m. in the morning right now, and I'm recording a video. What is wrong with me? I really don't know. So go ahead and leave a like, a big fat like. Let's see if we can get like 1,000 likes. Is that too much to ask for? I don't know. We haven't gotten a like in like 2-3 weeks, so let's go ahead and aim for that. Go ahead and share this video with at least 3 of your friends, because, you know, why not know about the up-and-coming draft and these future potential superstars who are coming up next. Go ahead and do all that. But lastly, I want you to make sure that you make your day great. But until then, I'll get right with you.
No way, remember back when I couldn't get a play, no home, I ain't have a place to stay, I got to work, made it serve, free the way, told my girl who'd ever thought.